First of all, we wanted to pass on regards from Eric Nixick. He said a lot of nice things about you. We just let him go. He was in the corner of Francis Ngannou. I'm sure you saw that. Yeah. And we're talking about what a big moment this is for Extreme Couture. The last UFC champion they had was when you won your belt. So this is big for the gym. But, if I can parlay that into a question, what do you think Francis is feeling? Do you recall your feelings like the Sunday and Monday after the buzz that you were on? And then I know you had a big special moment when you walked into the gym with that belt. But what do you think Francis is processing right now?
Oh man, I'm sure he's overwhelmed. I sent him a text in my first one, he didn't respond to, and I knew, because I know you get flooded, right? Like everybody wants to, wish you congratulations or wants an interview or whatever it may be. And I think right now he's probably feeling very elated, but also very overwhelmed and trying to manage his time well. But it's also surreal. It takes a little while for it to really sink in. I still feel like it took me probably about a week of waking up every morning and realizing that wasn't a dream anymore, that it actually happened, So I think he's probably going through quite a whirlwind of emotions.
Did it ever dawn on you like, hey, I'm the best at something in my particular weight class on this whole planet that has 7 billion people? I'm actually numero uno.
Yeah, actually, that kind of dawned on me when I walked to the arena. Holly was the champion, I was the challenger, and I said to myself, like, wow, I'm one of 2 people in this world going to do this right now, to be, to try to become a world champion, and then it became, one of one. Like I'm the only world champion, and that was a pretty interesting way to look at it. I don't know what the world population is, but when you sit back and think that, you earned your spot to be the best at something, it's pretty cool moment.
You don't trust old George here? I just told you it's 7 billion, although I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me after all. But yeah, it is about 7 billion. That's a lot.
That's a lot of people. Wait, no, how many did you say?
It's I rounded up, but I think it's around 6 point something billion. So billion, like 6.5 billion.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying million. I was like, no, I know it's not that. But yeah, that's a.
Oh. If I did say million, then yeah, I was
don't trust you if you're saying million, because I think it's some million people or something like that, and just in Singapore, and that's like the size of my pinky nail.
There's this chick that knows everything. Hold on a second. Siri, how many people are on this planet?
I thought you were gonna ask your wife.
No. It looks
like, wives usually know everything. I don't know.
It looks like 7.8 billion. So it's even gone. I guess it's even closer to 8 billion.
Yeah.
Siri always comes through. Miesha, later on that year, of course, you actually also finished with the sport, and I'm talking about 2016. And now you're back. That was one of the big announcements from last week, and it took us all kind of by surprise. And then I thought back to last week. I think it was last week. Goz and I had been at Extreme Couture. We saw you training, and we knew you were back in the USA, and we thought, just like a lot of the former pros that go in, like Jay Haran, he'll go in there. Martin Kampman, from time to time when he's in town, he'll go in there. They get their workout on. Little did I know that was probably the beginning of maybe a camp. You probably didn't know who you were fighting, but you were already starting the process of returning to the sport.
Yeah, so since I moved back here, I've really been starting the process of returning back to the sport, and that I have 4 months, so I'm gonna train twice a day, every day kind of thing. But we won't start the process of camp until probably I say probably about 10 weeks out. And I don't know exactly how to explain, but it shifts. Like camp starts to narrow down, to whittle away any of the extra things. You really start to hone in, and it's kind of like the buckle down time, right? So, but right now, I'm just getting in there, getting back into that optimal fight shape. Want to make sure to get my weight down plenty in time. And just, be very prepared for camp, because camp is tough. The fight is fun. The camp is, I think, what we actually get paid for. So yeah, in a few more weeks, we'll be entering that heavy state of training.
Doing what you've done over at One Championship for so long, you've had a chance to be on the outside looking in. Are there any things that you can take from being on the outside looking in that maybe you didn't see while you were competing yourself that you can now bring into the table?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think when you sit back and you analyze the sport, you learn so much. I think you watch, the top UFC analysts, Michael Chiesa and, Daniel Cormier and these guys. I think when they sit and they're forced to study the sport, it's really pretty incredible how much you can learn by just watching other people. I've learned a ton from watching Khabib. I've learned a ton from watching, Connor, like his striking style, Dustin Poirier. I sit back and I take these little tidbits and I take them to the training room and see what I can do and how I can mix them into my game. But yeah, absolutely. There is so much to be learned just by sitting back and being a spectator of the sport, somebody dissecting it from the outside.
I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to ask you about that goal of becoming a champion again, and it's got to go through Amanda Nunes. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, of course she wants to do that one back. But what I didn't think about was how many people, when you made this announcement, that you've beaten that probably say, I'd like to get back at her.
Oh, right.
Would that interest you? Some of those type of rematches where you were the victor. Baby Holly Holm.
Yeah, I'm sure Holly would like to run that one back, and I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. It would be really cool, looking way into the future, right? If I was the champion and she was challenging me, right? That would be kind of interesting. But either way, I'm sure that will be something we'll run back at some point, and that's a fight that I'm very much looking forward to. I think I could do better, I really do. And I know everybody thinks I'm so crazy because they're like, what is she doing? Taking 4 years off and coming back and thinking she could beat Amanda. But I've always been that way. Like, I'm always going to believe in myself. I'm always going to, shoot for the moon. And if I miss, I land among the stars, right? That's just kind of my mentality going into this. And I have to believe in myself. And I really do. I'm excited to show you guys on July 17th because this is going to be Miesha Tate 2.0. This is a different Miesha Tate when I have a good support system behind myself. I'm not exhausted going into training camps. I'm not exhausted going into fights. I'm not depressed. I'm not, have a good support like a lot of these other fighters do going into their training camps. And I just want to repeat what I can do when I don't have all that. There's a lot of pressure on me for this fight. You're probably going to ask me about Marion Reneau, so I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead here or whatever, but I know she's lost her last 4, but they're very close losses. And everybody looks at like, oh, she lost her last 4. That's a lot of pressure because she's not a shit fighter. She's not a bad fighter. She's a good fighter. She really is. And they're very closely contested losses a lot of the time. She submitted Sarah McMahon. She hurt her with a good right hand first. She she submitted Jessica Andrade with a triangle choke, right? I mean, she's done some really great things. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And all the losses, like, she's never finished too. I mean, she's just tough. So I think people are like, oh, she's lost 4. Miesha should smoke her. But well, maybe they're not looking at it that way. I don't know. But I feel like that's what people are going to look at. Like, she better, So I've just got to be really on point for this fight. It's a must-win situation for me. I look at it the other way. Like, there's no other, so I'm nose to the grindstone, and I want to show you what I did in the second part of my career.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Did we lose our connection? Are you there?
Still here.
Okay, there she is. All right. Yeah, no, listen, we love Marion Reneau. We're hearing this is going to be her last fight, but yes, she is an educator, and we've often talked to her about that as well. So she has our utmost respect. This is a great matchup between the two of you. And yeah, she's always competing no matter the result. She's always been a competitor. So, I mean, a lot of people are really, really excited about this fight. It made a big splash last week in the middle of an actual fight week on a week where Dustin Poirier was teasing his fight versus Conor McGregor. It looks like that's going to be said. Ben Askren, doing the boxing thing. He's pretty popular. yours had a nice reception as well. And hopefully you felt that from media and fans. It caught us from nowhere, but then I had to do a quick glance and say she's only 34, and she is a lifelong fighter. So I don't see the return being difficult at all. In fact, if you can go back to these practices we were talking about, how's your body responded? Now you being the mother of two who hasn't fought in 4.5 years, how's the body holding up?
It's not like I did nothing. Even during the pregnancies, I made sure to maintain the shape. I had my son, it was in my mind that I wanted to come back. So sorry if I lied to any of you guys, but that down on the down. So it was a few times when people were asking me, I think, and I was like, no, that was a lie. But I feel really good. Like physically, I feel like the strength is coming back. And like my feedback from my training partners in the gym, they're just like, damn, Miesha, it's like you never left. So I feel really confident that I can get back in there and mix it up with, it's a room full of killers at Extreme Couture. It is not a place where, you can expect to just, I don't know. You can't just show up and have a bad day and not get your ass kicked. Like they're all very, very talented guys and gals in there. So me just going in there and doing what I've been doing, winning rounds, like I feel really good and I feel strong. I don't know. I guess that is the thing. Like as you mature, like you gain strength. Maybe it's mom strength. I don't know, but I feel incredibly strong and I think the most important thing is I feel refreshed. Like my head doesn't feel jumbled with so much information. It's just like my brain is just processing things at a different level. Maybe it's maturity. Maybe it's just the time away that I had. Maybe it's just me feeling refreshed. I can't put my finger on it, but to answer your question, I feel pretty damn good. I don't know. What did you guys think? You guys were there on Monday. You guys saw me training. Yeah. What was your impression?
Well, that was one of those, I call Eric Nixick, Coach Lombardi, and when he has that whistle on, the proverbial whistle, and he runs you guys hard on Monday's practice, and you were hanging in there with all of them. So yeah, you did very, very, very well because that's one of the harder cardio practices that he does those Mondays.
It is. So there you have it. So you guys are my witness. I'm gonna make a good return here.
We know you will. Hey, listen, I see you're still rocking the Evolve. I know you're still part of the One Championship family, and they got some big fights coming up. This is a big month for One Championship on TNT. In fact, their first fight card is coming off here with Adriano Moraes defending his bantamweight championship against Demetrius Johnson on TNT. It all starts on Wednesday, the 7th, and I wanted to see if we could just pick your brain on a couple of these fights. Starting with that one, the great Demetrius Johnson is now the challenger. We rarely see him in that spot. He's always defending, but he's going to be going against Adriano Moraes. Maybe a quick little breakdown of what we can expect for that one as One Championship now splashes in North America.
Yeah, look, Demetrius Johnson had to go through a murderer's row really to get this opportunity, and he had some of his toughest challenges, if you guys followed, like that Grand Prix to make him the #1 contender. He had some really tough fights on his hand, and he's definitely going to have a tough than Adriano Moraes because, Adriano's a black belt, and he, not just black belt, he's a great fighter. He's been doing amazing things. He's a well-established champion of the division, but he feels a bit disrespected by the media, to be honest, because he's getting little to no love compared to Demetrius Johnson, who obviously is going to take the lion's share, being, what I would consider the GOAT. But I think Adriano Moraes, it's not only his belt, it's his legacy. It's the fact that people are underestimating him. He wants to go in there and he wants to take that shine off of Demetrius Johnson, keep his belt and beat the GOAT. So it's going to be a good scrap. I know Adriano feels a little bit disrespected in all of this, not by Demetrius Johnson, but just by the coverage that DJ gets versus him. So I think he's going to come out looking to make a real statement and prove everybody, why they should have been talking more about Adriano Moraes. And obviously, do I even need to talk about Demetrius Johnson? He is just a phenomenal athlete, and I'm going to see, this is going to be one of his biggest challenges. Can he seal that legacy? Can he really? I think capturing a belt in another organization that's, that's something. It's like becoming a dual weight champion. It's like you just, if you want to really add to those legacies and you want to build on that, well, that's what you're going to look to do, right? So here's Demetrius Johnson and Adriano Moraes. That'll be April 7th that they will be on that, be fighting for the flyweight world champion, one championship belt.
Yes, definitely. We'll be tuning in. And Adriano, we got some love for you. We've already booked Adriano for later in the week because, we got to get that kid some shine. He is the champion, and this is a big fight for him. And let's pivot to, you said a great scrap. You said a fighter that can win a belt in another organization. Eddie Alvarez has got himself a great scrap. He's in there with Yuri Lapicus, who just came up short against Christian Lee in his bid to be a champion over at one championship. But he's dusting himself off, and now he's taking on the Underground King. And Miesha, check this out. Eddie's a former Bellator champ, former UFC champ. Can you imagine if he can add the one championship belt? This fight right here, I'm sure if Eddie were to win, could possibly get him a shot versus Christian Lee, and it would go a long way for Lapicus to get a shot at the title as well.
Yes, so it's a very important, very pivotal fight for both of these guys. Eddie Alvarez had a bit of a rough start. He actually got knocked out by Nasty Ukin, who will also be fighting on one of the latter cards after this. But, Yuri Lapicus was undefeated prior to Christian Lee in one championship. And Christian Lee is the champion. And Christian can wrestle, he can strike, he can do everything. So, Yuri came up just a little bit short, but he's very hungry. He's coming off of that loss to the champion, and he knows a win over Eddie Alvarez, right? Puts him right there as a contender. He wants to get that one back with Christian Lee. He wants to be the champion. And he said he's going to be the second guy to knock out Eddie Alvarez. So, I don't know if that will hold true, but there's only one way to find out, and that'll be to tune in for the fights, obviously. And, Eddie Alvarez looking to, again, cement legacy. I think in this latter part of the sport, when you've accomplished so much like Eddie Alvarez, you're looking for things to keep you hungry and motivated in the sport, and to have a goal like capturing a championship belt in every major promotion. Like, talk about goals, right? These are big goals for him. So he knows this is a very important fight for him. And, his last fight too, he looked really good, but he fights through adversity, and he's going to come and bring it. And, the way that I look at this is a number one contender eliminator fight.
Definitely. And lastly, one championship is making kind of this card on TNT on Wednesday, April 7th, TNT 1 it's called. They're making it a hybrid card, and they're also presenting Muay Thai bouts and kickboxing. And in one of those, Rutang Jitmunyong versus Jacob Smith. That one is for a bantamweight, the bantamweight championship as well. That's the co-main event to Demetrius Johnson and Adriano Moraes. And then we have American Tyler McGuire versus Ramon Magomedaliev. I practiced, Miesha, I swear to God. But can you talk about this?
I struggle too. I really do. I struggle with these name pronunciations.
Exactly. Muay Thai and kickboxing in addition to MMA. That's awesome for the North American fans.
Yes, absolutely. Look, Tyler McGuire, actually, I know personally, he's from Spokane. He trains with Rick Little, Juliana Pena's coach, and Michael Chiesa's coach, and also will be coaching myself moving forward. We're all from that Pacific Northwest kind of corn-fed, tough folk up there, if you will. So Tyler McGuire, he marches to the beat of the same drum as the rest of us. He's really tough, really strong, got the good wrestling, powerful guy. Fought some of the best already in one championship. Come up a little short sometimes, but he's also won, and he's, he's a very, very tough guy. And then Rodtang Jitmuangnon. He is a different kind of animal. You got to watch him. Oh, and the Muay Thai fights, they have 4-ounce gloves. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You almost can't even tell that it's not an MMA fight, unless you're paying attention, right? So a lot of times they have the Muay Thai armbands and the Thai shorts, but it looks like an MMA fight until you see like they're only striking, which a lot of people really love. They get to see the most brutal part of the sport, and they're wearing 4-ounce gloves. He's killer. So Rodtang is I wish you guys you have to watch. If you haven't seen him fight yet, And he's one of those guys that goes out there, and if he takes a shot, like, he's going to hit himself in the face. And he's just like, oh, he's just crazy. Like, he loves to fight. He'll put his chin out there and let you hit him, and then he'll beat you down for it. Like, he just, like, certifiably crazy, I would say, but in the best kind of way. So entertaining. I love watching this man fight. He's an absolute savage. He's a beast, and he's so good. There's not very many people, I would say, that can go out there and just be like, yeah, come on, hit me. I'm going to put my hands down. I'm going to flex. You're going to hit me as hard as you can. I'm going to give you 2 free, and then I'm going to kick your ass for it. Like, that's Rodtang. He's just a different kind of animal.
Can't wait for next Wednesday, April 7th, One Championship on TNT. What a great splash they're going to have here in North America. And it's going to be 4 shows in April. Miesha, you did a great job. Hopefully we can steal you for a couple more breakdowns for the other shows on TNT. But in the meantime, I know you got to practice to get to as you start the comeback for your return to the Octagon versus Marion Reneau in July. We want to wish you the best of luck with that. And as always, thank you for your time here on MMA Junkie Radio. Outstanding job as always. We'll talk to you soon. I'm sure we'll see you at Extreme Couture later on.
Absolutely. See you guys soon.